All right. Today is the Sabbath. So happy Sabbath, which is Goshen, Goshem, Kusabi, right? Let's get it started. Salute to everyone watching by King David YouTube channel. Salute to everyone watching by Let's Up to Heal Maria Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Truth Colors YouTube channel. Salute to everyone watching by Truth Colors Yeshaya Congo Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Yashayahu Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Bantu Yisolele Israelites Twitter account. Salute to all of our first time visitors. We're glad to have you. Enjoy. We're going to be bringing out different different details about what goes on, how it goes on, what is happening, and afterwards I'll be probably playing a movie, so I'm not going to be on, Father willing, saying that ain't going, because every single time I say that ain't going to be, Father seems to always might have something different in mind, you know what I'm saying? So it's just best I not say those words right there. Just run away from those words. I just need to run away from them, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just not cool. Each time I say those words, it's like the Father be like, oh, really? So you calling the shots now, right? So you the one calling the shots saying you ain't going to be all this long. Okay. And I end up eating my words, you know what I'm saying? So I cannot do that no more, right? So hopefully, by all means necessary, I'm not here before you long, right? Hope I can get out what I need to say in laughter, because I'm going to be laughing up some stuff right now. Just be laughing. So let's get up the intro right now, because we got some laughing to get on with. You'll be like, they're the most heartless people on the face of the earth. No. Once we tell you, you're responsible afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It's not our fault. You just don't listen. So when things happen on your stuff, I just start laughing. That's all. Father, show you how peaceful he is. You know what I'm saying? How loving he is. So we're going to do that right now. I'm trying to show there's a difference, a major difference. And a lot of people are not getting it. The Father is set apart.
Revelations. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark into his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Satan cast into the lake of fire. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The great white throne. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it. from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works, in death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. But I will tell you what will happen to cowards and to everyone who is unfaithful or dirty-minded or who murders or is sexually immoral or uses witchcraft or worships idols or tell lies. They will be thrown into that lake of fire and burning sulfur. This is the second death.
Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Hey, who I said your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Multitude like your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit.
Beats by other songs.
Truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors. Ayy, when you learn the truth, it will set you free. Many are held captive, stolen identity. But let me just shoot the breeze, release you from Satan's squeeze. He's all like enemies, no matter the color you see. That truth flame,
By other songs.
truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, yeah, yeah, truth colors.
All right. We're about to get it popping. Okay. Causing people to understand some things. I want to say first, salute to Goshen. Salute to Michaela and Micah. Daddy loves you. Salute to Queenie Tana and Cheryl. May the will of my Father be done on this earth as it is in heaven. This is another session of Truth Colors. And I am your host, King, Heart of Psalms, King Ishaya, King Music. So let's get popping. All right. I am the branch that was spoken of throughout the scriptures, the New Testament, all that, right? The person with it must have a banner. People don't have a banner, right? So, but I do, all right? So let's get it. It's a special report. Special report.
It's just after 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we are coming on the air with an update on those devastating tornadoes that hit the southeast and the Midwest in the middle of the night. The sun has now been up for a few hours in that region, and search and rescue crews there, along with first responders, are picking through the rubble. They are looking for survivors and recovering the dead. This morning, Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear said that he expects 50 to 100 people may have been killed in his state, many of them at a candle factory in the small town of Mayfield. He is now taking part in a news conference. Let's listen in.
And sadly, far too many homes that people were likely in, entirely devastated. This will be, I believe, the deadliest tornado system to ever run through Kentucky. You know, earlier this morning at about 5 a.m., we were pretty sure that we would lose over 50 Kentuckians. I'm now certain that that number is north of 70. It may, in fact, end up exceeding 100 before the day is done. The damage is even worse now that we have first light. A couple places have been hit incredibly hard. Certainly Mayfield here in Grace County, but everywhere along the line of this tornado that touched down and stayed down for 227 miles, over 200 in Kentucky, has been severely and significantly impacted. I've been on the phone with now nearly every county judge in areas that have been impacted. We have pledged our full support. I have talked to the Secretary of Homeland Security while I have been here. He has pledged his full support, and we are hearing that from every part of the federal administration and from our U.S. senators and from our congressmen. Kentucky is united today behind the people of Western Kentucky. We want to be here to help dig out, to help make rescues, to help provide when people are suffering, and then to help rebuild. This is not a one-day thing. Now, this is one state, and we will stand united to make sure that we can lift our families back up. But please know that there are a lot of families that need your prayers. Prayers that somebody may be found, or prayers to help them through the grieving process. Dawson Springs up the road also hit incredibly hard. That's where I'll be headed next. I want to call on a number of people today to give you an idea of different things that we are doing. I can tell you that the state of emergency was put into place last night before midnight. The National Guard is deployed and will be in communities very shortly, and that is now going to be augmented.
Wow. So a state of emergency has been called.
Let's begin this morning with that new COVID variant that's quickly put the world on edge. Health officials are warning Omicron looks different from other variants, becoming the dominant strain in South Africa in just a matter of days.
There is still a lot we don't know about the variant, including how transmissible it is and how serious infections can be. While researchers around the world are working to answer those questions, the World Health Organization says the Omicron variant poses a very high global risk and could lead to a new COVID wave. The first cases were detected in southern Africa last week, and since then, 14 countries have detected Omicron. You're looking at them on your map right now. That includes 7 countries in Europe, 3 countries in Africa, and Canada. World leaders are taking steps that they say are aimed at containing the variant by putting in place travel bans from South Africa. The passengers trying to leave that country are now stranded as borders shut down in response to Omicron. It's too early to tell whether the current vaccines will be effective in protecting against this new variant. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson have all released statements saying they have begun testing and modifying their vaccines to fight this. But Dr. Anthony Fauci is urging everyone to get vaccinated and boosted immediately.
even when you have variants of concern, you do well against them. It may not be as good in protecting against initial infection, but it has a very important impact on diminishing the likelihood that you're going to get a severe outcome from it. So this is a clarion call, as far as I'm concerned, of saying, let's put aside all of these differences that we have and say, if you're not vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you're fully vaccinated, get boosted, and get the children vaccinated also.
We have a team of experts in the field to help us break down the very latest COVID variant news from every angle. We want to start this morning with NBC News medical contributor Dr. Kavita Patel and the latest on what we know and also what we don't know yet about this variant. So, Dr. Patel, good morning to you. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving with your family. What do we know so far about this variant? How concerned should we be?
Yeah, Lindsay, Savannah, good morning. This is something that raises a lot of concern, but really because of a couple of facts. Number one, there are approximately 32 mutations to that red spike protein that give it a lot more kind of opportunity to infect people, attach to people, even, and raises that possibility of what we call immunity escape. But none of that has been proven. So that mutation number alone has alarmed many officials. Fact number two, we've seen, just as you pointed out, Lindsay, an incredible number of people across the globe that seem to have pretty quickly been identified with the Omicron variant. So that speaks to a potential high transmissibility or a high infection rate, even more than Delta. And then I think what's left and what we don't know is really the important pieces. Do our current vaccines work against this? There is really no plausible way that our vaccines are rendered utterly useless against this variant. So the question is, how much of a reduction is there? And is that reduction significant enough to kind of cause more hospitalizations? And right now, the evidence doesn't point to that, but it's still early. And then I think the next question is, what can we do about it? And I think, you heard Dr. Fauci, get vaccinated. I think it's also an emphasis, something to talk about, getting boosted. Boosters can broaden your immunity and potentially kickstart your body into also developing immunity against different variants, including potentially the Omicron variant.
So, Dr. Patel, that's exactly what I want to ask you about next is the shots, getting boosted, getting vaccinated in the first place. So obviously you just laid out all these questions that we still don't have answered. Dr. Fauci also specifically told President Biden it could take up to 2 weeks before we know more about this variant. But in the meantime, everyone is being urged to get vaccinated. And we have heard that these companies are all testing their vaccines against this new variant, potentially modifying them. So explain right now why it makes sense to go get this booster. Is there a potential, though, that the shots could change? Is it going to be a different vaccine and you're going to be boosted with something and then need something else again later? How does this work right now in this kind of in-between time before we know more?
Yeah, great question. So, Savannah, listen, I can't stress this enough. Do not wait for a, quote, modified version of a vaccine simply for the reason that could take time, and we're in a race against time. We're watching how quickly any virus is spreading. By the way, we saw this with Delta. If you recall, I think a number of us were wondering if the current vaccines would work against the Delta variant. Until we had that evidence, there were conversations around tweaking, and all manufacturers said the same thing, that they have the ability, and they do, to quickly, within weeks, Savannah, potentially turn around a new formulation. But that doesn't turn into shots in arms. We have, around any part of the country, shots in arms that are available for people who are not vaccinated, and then for people who need boosters. And the role of the booster, just to kind of say why you need it now and why you shouldn't wait, the booster really does kickstart your body and tells your body, hey, remember that vaccine we had months ago? We want to prime and increase those antibodies, but we also want your antibodies to be a little bit smarter and develop even more antibodies that could protect you against even more variants. That's critical for now.
All right, and Dr. Patel, how much of a role does vaccine inequality play in the spread of this variant?
Yeah, very much so, Lindsay. And if you look at the African nations, that we've got approximately 2 to 10% of African nations vaccinated, that offers just an incredibly large reservoir of opportunity for variants and mutations to develop. So this is just another stark reminder that we're not out of this until we're all vaccinated at as high a rate as possible, putting pressure on many countries like the United States, not just to do travel restrictions, but to also think about how can we amp up opportunity. It's not even the supply, Lindsay. I think it's really about countries' abilities to actually deliver the vaccines into arms.
All right, Dr. Kavita Patel, thanks so much for joining us on this.
Okay, guys, I found it. Iron brew. Let's see how it is. Ready? They're watching me over there. Okay, so it's orange. Okay, here we go. This tastes like the Latino soda, cola champagne. Have you had cola champagne? This, I don't know where.
Yeah, I don't care about your soda, but what I do care about that they won't let me post in none of my groups that I'm doing right now. Groups that I own. Okay. So the best way to skin this cat is to go to another profile. Good thing I have like 20 of them. We got some information to look at though, because this bad boy is about to get very interesting. People are about to be ramped up. Like, wait a minute, hold up. Say what's happening again? What people doing? People be like, I hate this place. They're gonna be ready to leave. So there is some things I've been looking into that the Father had me look into, but we're gonna look at this real quick. For those who are keeping the wrong feast days and Sabbath day, this is you right here. This is why Omicron is coming for you. You know, you ain't gotta worry about Santa Claus coming for you. You know, you got Omicron, coming to town, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the green light that is on your life that I've been saying for years now. all the days of the commandment will be 2 and 50 weeks of days. So like pretty much 52 weeks, right? And these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraved and ordained on the heavenly tablets, meaning it cannot be changed. And there is no neglecting. Wait a minute, hold up. So no matter if you forget or not, right? You just no neglecting it, right? Okay, this doesn't change. So watch this. When they keep saying that the Messiah paid it all and kept the commandments so we don't have to keep them, we're going to see if that's true or not. Watch this. And there is no neglect in this commandment for a single year or from year to year. Wait a minute, hold up. I thought he paid it all. See, they don't understand when they talking about the commandments is done. They was not talking about the 10 commandments. They was talking about the feast days and Sabbath days. Because the feast days and Sabbath days is literally, watch this, the oldest commandment ever. It's before Adam and Eve was ever created. Before there was Adam and Eve, there was the feast days and the Sabbath. So any commandments that comes, they come after this. How can the Father replace all the other commandments? Literally, you're gonna replace the first commandments with the 10 commandments, 613 commandments. So this is not one of the things you just want to get messed up. You just like, you know what? This is not really that important. There's no way that the feast days and the Sabbath days are not totally important. Because literally, when the Father said, let there be light, was the same time when they who were the host of heaven began to keep the feast. This is before man was ever created or ever set foot. This is before Abraham. This is before Enoch. This is before all of that. So the 10 commandments is important, but it's not talking about that law being done away with. The enemy will have people thinking that, but the oldest law that he will be trying to do away with is this right here, that literally controls the days and the times. Oh yeah. Now that makes sense. The other does not. If that's the case, if they try to seek to, change the 10 Commandments or change the commandments, they would have just not write it in the book. We don't want to keep the 10 Commandments, not at all. Nope. And even homeboy, so they got the whole church confused. They don't even know what the commandments they're talking about. And the people think they're keeping the Sabbath. That's what their Sunday is. That's what their Fridays is. The so-called Sabbath. They think it's the Sabbath. But look what happened on their Sabbath. It was literally the sound of a tornado shaking up your bones. You cannot run fast. You are good as gone. The sound of tornadoes arriving at your home. You can't move fast. You about to be gone. Doesn't matter if you come together. He is right and you are wrong. All right, so all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command thou the children of Israel, or the what? Ebos, that they observe the years according to this reckoning, this commandment. 364 days. And these will constitute a complete year, and they will not disturb its time from its days, Sabbath days, and from its feasts. For everything will fall out. Wait a minute, hold up. So everything's gonna be balanced. For everything will fall out in them according, wait a minute, to their testimony. So the Sabbath has a testimony. The feast days has a testimony. They overcame them by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They overcame them by the feast days. They overcame them by the Sabbath days. And they will not leave out any day, nor disturb any feast. Now the feast days and the Sabbath days is going to also be tied into the vine and the branch. Because it's at the beginning before man was ever created. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons. Wait a minute, hold up. So that means everything's going to be going reverse. You know, your seasons, like people says, well, we keeping our feasts according to, America, because they're in America now. And we see right here, the scriptures just said that they will disturb its feast. They will disturb, watch this, your Sabbath too. Oh, man. They would disturb all, not some. That means you're going to be for you to mess up the seasons. That means you're going to be keeping the feast in the wrong season. That's what it's saying. The way you're going to disturb the season, meaning you're not going to keep the feast in its right timing. You're going to be keeping it at the wrong time. So what you keep now for Passover is incorrect. What you keep now for tabernacles is incorrect. What you keep for the Feast of Dedication is incorrect. And their years will be dislodged from this order, and they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be, not maybe, it says will be All right. And they will neglect their ordinances. Meaning